Good morning to one and all present here. I, Yash Gupta, welcome you all. We have gathered here to celebrate Mental Health Day with a colloquium on mental health for holistic well-being and optimizing potential. Let me begin by introducing the New Delhi Institute of Management to our esteemed guest. NDIM was set up in 1992 and takes pride in its sole focus of excellence in business management programs. New Delhi Institute of Management has been declared the best in India for industry linkages, student employability and corporate environment by all the Apex National Commerce and Industry Chambers of India continuously for last 5 years by SOCHM, CII and FICCI, including AICTE Government of India. Confederation of Indian Industries and AICTE Government of India jointly declared us as the first and only Mentor B school in India. NDIM has been accredited by NBA and has been declared equivalent to an MBA program by AIM. Now I request Professor Radha ma'am to present the Green Initiative to our esteemed guest, Mr. Ratnesh Jha sir, Executive Director, UN Global Compact Network.
Sir, I request. On behalf of this,
Ambitious Faculty Coordinator, Professor Dr. Radha Sharma, an executive alumnus of Harvard Business School and has certification in corporate social responsibility from British Council and New Academy of Business, UK, the World Bank Institute, and also in sustainability mindset and carbon footprint UK. She is the sustainability mindset ambassador for India. She is a professor and dean for research of industry academia linkages at NDIM, chair Center for Responsible Management and Sustainable Development at NDIM. She has been Chair Professor of Social Responsibility and Governance at HHL International University, Germany, and Guest Professor to the Humanistic Management Network, Switzerland, and the Wittenberg Center for Global Ethics, among others. She has been associated with PRME initiative for over a decade and has published a book under PRME collection and Handbook of Sustainable Development, HRM for Organizational Sustainability, Principles of Responsible Management Education in Age of AI, and numerous book chapters, 3 special issues of Scopus and ABTZ Index journals on sustainability, triple bottom line and related themes. She has completed research project supported by Ministry of Health and World Health Organization relating to mental health. Now I invite Dr. Radha ma'am to formally welcome the guest.
Mr. Ratnesh Jha, the Executive Director, United Nations Global Compact Network India, Dr. S.C. Manchanda, Senior Consultant Cardiology, Sir Gangaram Hospital, New Delhi, and a holistic health management specialist, my faculty colleagues, and dear students. A very good morning to one and all.
Good morning, ma'am.
On behalf of New Delhi Institute of Management, on behalf of my faculty colleagues, and on behalf of all the students present here, I extend a very, very hearty welcome to our two esteemed guests this morning in our midst. As you are aware, today is World Mental Health Day. This day was observed for the first time on October 10, 1992, and ever since it is celebrated as an annual activity over the years. In fact, every year they choose a theme, and for this year the theme is mental health as a universal human right. It's interesting to note that this thought was envisaged in our ancient Indian scriptures thousands of years ago. And I would like to quote from the Upanishad, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashit durbhak bhavet. Implying, may all be happy, may all be free from infirmity, may all see auspicious things, and may no one suffer. So let me introduce the concept of health to you, because most of you are with different background. So according to World Health Organization, health is a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being. Complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of a disease or infirmity. Then what is mental health? So mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects our thinking, the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, and it also determines how we handle our stresses and problems in our day-to-day life. I have been interested in this subject, as Yash was introducing, over the years. I started with the stress, and I was more interested in what happens when stress is unmanageable. I evolved the construct of executive burnout. This project was supported by Ministry of Health and World Health Organization. And then I tried to work on how to mitigate this. And then I did a lot of research in this field, which I have shared in published form. Some of my work was also recognized. So as we are all aware, the world has witnessed a lot of changes during the past few years, and particularly collective trauma that we all have undergone in the form of COVID-19, or we are facing in the form of climate changes, climate disruptions. And as a result, a lot of people are suffering from stress, and also a lot of them from burnout. So these are the major health issues in today's time. And in fact, all these collective traumas and incidents, with the advancement of technology in the form of artificial intelligence, which is displacing many people and are affecting many jobs, the link between work and well-being is receiving global attention, and it's in the spotlight at present. So mental health is important at all stages of life, but one of the recent studies indicates that people in the age group 18 to 24 are most stressed people in the current era. So therefore, when we were thinking about celebrating World Mental Health Day, we thought of choosing this theme, which would be helpful to all of you, and which would be of interest to you as you are aspiring to join industry with great aspirations. So as Chair for Responsible Management and Sustainable Development, as a faculty of OB, and also as faculty coordinator for our club, Sustainability Club for Sustainability Mindset, I thought this would be a very appropriate theme, and my faculty colleagues present here, they all agreed. Dr. Sunena, Dr. Monica, Dr. Sengar, who are teaching all of you in different sections, they all supported my initiative, and we are here. So this colloquium we will have in two parts. The first part, we'll have two distinguished speakers who are before you. They will set the context. They will share their perspectives based on their expertise and background. And in the second part, we'll have a workshop on mental well-being by psychologists from Belém. So, good health and well-being, as you know, is one of the Sustainable Development Goals. This is goal number 3. And we couldn't have had a better person than Mr. Ratnesh Shah himself, who is the Executive Director of UN Global Compact Network India, to inaugurate this initiative and also to set the ball rolling for the entire day. It's indeed an honor to have him in our midst this morning. And before I request him to address you all, I would like to share his brief profile. Mr. Ratnesh Shah has more than 3 decades of experience at national, state, and district levels. He has successfully built multi-stakeholder platforms for improving access to development sector policies and programs through enterprise development, microfinance, financial inclusion, and public finance management across the Small Industries Development Banks of India and United Nations Development Program. He has provided technical assistance to Ministry of Finance, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Ministry of Rural Development and Niti Aayog, Government of India, as well as social sector departments of UN focus states. Mr. Jha, as you know, is the current Executive Director of UN Global Compact, and he is leading a number of initiatives in various areas relating to sustainable development goals. He has his master's in development finance from University of Manchester and master's in MPhil in sociology from University of Delhi. I'm grateful to him for gracing this occasion and request him to kindly take the podium and address our speakers.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for that warm welcome and excellent introduction. I would start only after everyone settles down. So all those who need to move out may please move out. All others who are interested in listening may please sit down. Okay, good morning to everyone, each one of you. Thank you for coming, sparing your time, valuable time to be on this very, very critical and important topic. We often don't realize the importance of it. We just feel that just being normal, healthy, absence of disease is enough. But as ma'am was telling us, that our mind plays a lot of tricks with us, and we have to be very, very aware of what we are thinking, what we are doing, and where we are going. Unless we do that, we won't be able to accomplish what we want to accomplish. In fact, what we want to accomplish is also a very, very key indicator in terms of mental health. So it's a very, very complex and deep subject. Dr. Manchanda will be giving us the technical insights. I will give you the social perspective of mental health. So as ma'am introduced me, I work for the United Nations Global Compact. So by a raise of hands, how many of you have heard about United Nations as an organization? Wonderful. And then the next question comes, United Nations Global Compact. Be honest, how many of you have heard about it? Okay, so United Nations Global Compact is an agency of the United Nations. So as you know, United Nations works through a lot of agencies. General Assembly, you've heard, how many of you have heard about UN General Assembly? Yeah, so that is the assembly of all the countries. And they come together and they empower various agencies to do certain things, like UNICEF. How many of you have heard about UNICEF? Excellent. WHO? Yeah. So these are the prominent public-facing agencies which work on health-related issues. UNICEF works for the health of the child and the mother, primarily, among other things, and WHO is responsible for the entire gamut of health-related issues, certification, etc. So, what do? So, we are also a similar agency, similar to the WHO, UNICEF. We interface with the private sector. So, that's where the NDIM comes into picture. So, you people, and another thing was mentioned, PRME. Anyone can help me with the full form of PRME? Not you, ma'am. Anyone can stand up and tell what does PRME stands for? No volunteers.
Oh, you have studied it? Come on.
अरे गलती होगा खड़े तो हो कम से कम. Try.
Principle of responsible management.
Education. Perfect. So these are the principles which again have been drawn by the UN Global Compact, where students today are leaders of tomorrow. So if you get the sustainability and the social messages right, then thousands and thousands of decisions you will make in your life as executives, as CEOs, as CXOs, that will have an impact on all the sustainability goals that UN talks about. So I was recently in a conference, and the DPS chairman was also there, and he said, and very beautiful thing, आप लोग भी थोड़ा ध्यान से सुनो इसको. He said that if you start from the school level, this message of sustainability, this message of mental health, this message of sharing, caring for the planet, for each other, then you won't need these conferences at a later stage, because everyone will be aware that the whole society will emerge like that. Such a beautiful thought. So similarly, today I'm so glad that you people have organized this event around mental health on a very important day, where we all work towards our own mental health of other people. So the way we behave, it helps people to retain their mental calm. So that way they are healthier. So all these small steps. Achha, one more quiz, last quiz question. How many of you have heard about LIFE, L-I-F-E, which was introduced by Modi ji some time back in August, September. So LIFE is lifestyle for environment. So that is, again, you hear a lot of things about global warming, climate change, glaciers melting. So everyone gets stressed. But what are we supposed to do? So that is what our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister has introduced. 10 steps which we can take in our daily life, which has a positive impact on the environment, on the resources. We draw very little as we need for our sustenance. So these are some things which we need to do on a daily life. Similarly, on the mental health issues, again, we have to be mindful of other people's perspective, put ourselves in their shoes, and then talk. And again, ma'am quoted the Upanishads. I would also quote one of them. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, apriyam satyam na bruyat. So speak the truth, but truth which is in a pleasant tone. You don't have to be unpleasant. You don't have to be rude to the other. And if all of us maintain this to a large extent, mental health issues can be avoided. I mean, as we start from home and till we reach to our workplace, we witness a lot of anger, a lot of road rage, a lot of overtaking. I mean, I, as a driver in Delhi, I can vouch for that. All of you must be using some public transport or your own vehicle. You see a lot of events which lead to a rise in anger levels. Then once we reach our workplace or educational institution or wherever, there again, what we do, what we observe, what we see, it's all we are soaking inside, and that is all having an impact on our mental health bit by bit, incrementally. So what should we do to avoid this? There is help available. There are healthy ways of living, healthy ways of reacting. So all those are, in the next session you will get some practical inputs. But what I can say, that give it the importance it deserves. Because ultimately, a healthy mind, a healthy body are the only tools we have to enjoy this whole stream of life. You are doing MBAs today, and tomorrow you will join the workforce. If you are happy, if you are mentally balanced, if you are sound, then only you will be able to contribute to the potential that you have. Always be a struggle, managing between life, work, mental peace, your own well-being, family. The stress will be multiple. So unless, and this is the time where you can develop your knowledge base as well as your attitude towards life. I could say more, but I would stop here, and I would just invite you to our United Nations Global Compact office. It is in Kutub Institutional area, where you can get a glimpse of what are the SDGs, how we are working with the corporate sector to fulfill it, and we would find a way of reaching out to the students, because youth is the key to all the problems that we are facing right now. So if you decide that's enough, put a stop to it, I think we adults will listen and will take appropriate action. Thank you so much.
Which have been shared by Mr. Ratne Jha during his inaugural address. He has talked about various UN organizations and the kind of work UNGCNI is doing. So we'll plan a visit to his office, and those of you who are interested may please volunteer your names, and then we may take up some initiatives through your club or through other activities, so that we can take the message of sustainability forward, and we can contribute to this wonderful initiative, which is the need of the hour, because we have to work for the future. We have to have a sustainable future. Now, with immense thanks and gratefulness to Mr. Jha, I now move on to the next speaker of the day, and I have great pleasure in welcoming Dr. S.C. Manchanda, the distinguished keynote speaker. Dr. Manchanda, as I mentioned, is Senior Consultant Cardiology at Sir Gangaram Hospital, and prior to this, he was Professor and Head at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, of the Department of Cardiology. He has more than 45 years of experience, but you cannot guess his age. And the reason for that is that he has evolved a lifestyle and methodology which he'll share with you, and for which he has been recognized internationally and globally. He has done a lot of scientific work on randomized trials and groups to prove the lifestyle methodology that he has evolved for holistic well-being, and that is what he is known for, in addition to his expertise in the field of cardiology. He is a highly sought after cardiologist, and every time I have tried to reach out to him, I have found him at one place or the other, never in Delhi, and I've had the privilege of associating with him for the past decade and a half. He has published 400 research papers, can you imagine? Which includes 50 book chapters and 4 books. He is editor-in-chief of Preventive Cardiology. He is recipient of various national and international awards, including Padma Shri by the President of India, and the Lifetime Achievement Award by Cardiological Society of India. He has done original work in the field of high altitude problems, we have defense services where people work in high altitude, and he has worked on that. And as I mentioned a little while ago, lifestyle modification including yoga and meditation. So I would like to request Dr. Manchanda to share his knowledge and experience with all of us.
Professor Radha Sharma, faculty and students of this prestigious institute. I don't know why I have been invited on this mental health day celebrations. I am not a psychiatrist, I am not a mental health specialist. I am just a cardiologist who has been seeing a large number of patients with heart disease, which is killing the largest number of people in our country and throughout the world. And it is occurring at a very, very young age. Well, although I am not a specialist, but I have been interested in mental health and the opposite of mental health, that is stress, which causes, which is responsible, which is the main component of health as well as disease. As you heard, the definition of WHO of health is not mere absence of disease or infirmity, but a state of physical, mental, social, and spiritual has also been added lately, well-being. We don't understand what is spiritual well-being, but I'll talk to you a little later. Well, out of these four components, which is most important? I think the most important is mental well-being. It is said, "Jaisa man vaisa tan." The way your mind is, that's your body is. Because it doesn't matter if you're not able to talk about it. So it is said that Jaisa man vaisa tan, or Jaisa tan vaisa man. There is a strong body-mind relationship. Actually, it is the mind which creates thoughts. If these are bad thoughts, you are not able to tackle them, it's called stress. And if there are good thoughts, you are always remaining happy and in the state of bliss. Well, as I said, I am a cardiologist, so I am going to talk of role of mental health or stress in the causation of heart disease. You might be interested because these days you have read in the media and seen also the news that young people are dying while on the treadmill, etc., etc. So this disease, heart disease, which was considered to be a disease of the elderly, has now become the disease of the very young people. And so is the mental stress. As you heard, it is most common between 18 to 44. I will say even earlier than that. Well, as you know, heart disease is the leading cause of death all over the world. It's a part of so-called non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are the leading cause of death. This includes, of course, heart attacks or heart disease. It includes diabetes, hypertension, and several other diseases like lung disease and psychoneurotic like depression, anxiety, etc. Now, it's a lifestyle disease. All of you know that. There are 4 factors. If you control them, the disease will not be there. These 4 factors are: we have unhealthy diet. Those people who go and eat in the fast foods outside the home, they get this disease. Refined foods and processed foods are responsible. The second is lack of exercise. In this digital media, and especially during the COVID, people had stopped doing exercise. So this is a very important cause. If you exercise, 30% of the heart attacks will be gone. So I would advise all the students to do exercise at least half an hour or whatever you want to do. You can do a treadmill, you can do jogging, you can do walking, swimming, anything. But if you are regular, not only you will avoid heart attacks, you will add years to life. It's rightly said, exercise not only adds years to life, but puts life into years. You never get old when you are doing exercise. And the third is tobacco or alcohol. Tobacco, as you all know, is one of the biggest enemies of mankind. It causes cancer. We all know that cancer of the throat in our country, unfortunately, is very, very common because of chewable tobacco and, of course, smoking, etc. Chewable tobacco is not decreasing in our country, it's increasing actually, whereas smoking has come down. So it's a very important cause, and very important cause for heart attacks among young people, less than 40. Unfortunately, in our country, heart disease occurs, heart attacks occur at a very young age. That is below the age of 40. Even I have seen 20s and 30s, and I will tell you what is the role of mental stress in that. So this is the third factor. That one is, I told you, unhealthy diet, lack of exercise. The third is this tobacco and alcohol is also bad now. But we have said you can take a couple of drinks, but now it has been shown that even one drink is bad. And therefore one should not use alcohol at all. And the fourth, which is the most important, is the mental stress. Now these are the four factors. Of course there are other factors also like environmental pollution, which we have very little, but these four factors we can control. And if these factors can be controlled from early childhood, I think the heart attacks will vanish. And half the hospitals in this country will also disappear. But unfortunately, we are not able to follow these four simple rules of life. And therefore, we get heart disease. Out of this, which is the most important? Well, every factor is important. Diet is important, exercise is important, tobacco is, but I think the most important, as far as I consider and many cardiologists consider, is the stress or unhealthy mental status. Because a person under stress, as you know, he is not interested in walking. He is just sitting all the time. He is not interested. He is not interested in eating well. Many people who become obese, they go on eating. Sometimes they don't eat, they become very thin also. But mostly they overeat. So the diet becomes unhealthy, they don't exercise. And then to avoid stress, they produce another stress, they start smoking or drinking. So if you are stressed, you are the most prone to get heart attacks. And this has been clearly shown in number of, if you have more these factors, you will get this disease earlier. And as I said, it's occurring at a very, very early age and all. And therefore, what I would suggest is you should have healthy lifestyle. And this is healthy lifestyle. And a healthy lifestyle includes the mental health. Now, I will not discuss the role of other factors. We could surely discuss that later. But about the diet, I would like to say, you are all staying as students and all, but I think you should know what healthy diet is. A healthy diet is diet which is made at home. You should avoid the refined foods and processed foods. These are the only two things you have to avoid. Refined foods is sugar. You should not use sugar. You can do brown sugar, which is natural sugar. Sugar is the biggest, we call it terrorist in this world because it kills more people. Earlier it thought it was causing diabetes. Now we know it causes high blood pressure, it causes heart attacks and obesity and so on. So sugar, try to avoid it as far as possible. You might not be aware that even a cold drink that you take, any cold drink contains 40 spoons of sugar, say a Coke or and even these so-called sugar substitutes are very, very dangerous. They are more dangerous than the sugar. So don't take sugar substitutes also. WHO has recently said all these sugar substitutes, including all the products are harmful and some of them may even cause cancer. So sugar should be avoided. Then white flour, what is called maida, should be avoided. All the things you get in the market are made of maida. And therefore white bread should not be taken, brown bread, it should be whole wheat bread. And similarly, avoid things in the market because everything is made of white flour or maida. Whether you take samosas, noodles, or whatever. They are so try to avoid, take whole wheat, even biscuits are maida. So you should try to see the label carefully. The third thing is rice should be brown rice, not white rice. Again, oil should not be refined, it should be non-refined. And avoid processed foods. All these chips, etc. that you take. The reason why they are bad is because a lot of chemicals are added and when you refine, say oil, you have to heat it 2 or 3 times, they add chemicals and all. These chemicals you are eating and that's why they cause not only heart disease but several other diseases also. So please avoid as far as possible refined and only 4 things you have to avoid, that's all. And too much of salt should be avoided. So we always say that if you can take care of 4S, you can avoid the disease. One is of course avoid stress, avoid sugar, avoid. So avoid means take as minimal as possible. You see, some people live to eat and other people eat to live. So I think you should eat just to live, not live to eat. They go on dumping all the time. Don't take these snacks, etc. So that is important about the diet. I think I thought I should tell, because you are all taking these cold drinks, etc., which are very, very harmful. The second thing is, of course, exercise, and all of you are under stress. And therefore, I should tell you that you should not be under stress. I will tell you how you can take care of it. Can you all see these slides? Yes. So I'm going to talk about how you can work, because I was told I have to show some slides, etc. But rather, you're all students here, so scientific evidence is very important. So these are some of the old slides I have taken, but I'll just end up something more on that slowly. So these are what are the psychosocial risk factors? How does stress cause coronary heart disease? As you heard, there are several psychosocial factors. They can be acute factors. For example, a tremor occurs, a terrorist attack has occurred, and then there are chronic. Actually, stress was a very good response, fight and flight response. When man came on this planet, he had to encounter these wild animals. To survive, God gave us this flight and flight reaction. Seeing the animal, you had to run fast. For that, your catecholamines have to increase, you have to heart rate test, blood pressure, and you were able to save yourself. So it was a safety mechanism. If a lion came, you were able to run and all. But these days what is happening is, you are surrounded by 3 or 4 lions, you can't run. For example, your teacher, your professor, or your colleague, your some relation you may not like, but you cannot run. He is like a lion to you. So 3-4 lions are sort of crowding around us, and we can't run away. So what happens is the same system starts working, the same hormones which were good starts damaging the body. So this is called chronic stress. Then there are emotional factors like depression, anxiety, anger, hostility. You are all aware of it. And then there are social factors which are very, very important. Earlier this disease used to occur in the rich people. But rich people have sort of adjusted very well to the lifestyles throughout the world. Now it is a disease of the poor people. The people in the lower socioeconomic status, because they have a lot of stress, to come to that, are getting it. And that's why 80% of the heart disease occurs in the so-called low income and middle income. So it's a problem of the low income and the middle income group. It's not anymore of the high income, because there the disease is decreasing. It's increasing in our country. Of course, one of the methods is to improve the socio-economic status, but we can't do that immediately. The government is doing about it. Well, where is the evidence that psychosocial stress is bad? There are several animal studies, epidemiological studies, which show that psychosocial stress is important for pathogeny of coronary heart disease. For example, areas where people are under stress all the time, or certain occupations where under stress get more disease and all. This is one of the very old experiments done in monkeys. Monkeys were made angry. They became unstable monkeys. And you can see that the dominant monkeys there have less heart disease as compared to non-dominant. So they used to get angry at some other animals, and you can see that those who were dominant, they got less heart disease. This is shown very well in epidemiological study. There is a very large study called Whitehall study done in London. And it was found that people who are at higher levels of job, for example, executives and all, they had less heart disease as compared to the low quality jobs, for example, PMs and other things, those who could not take decisions. So it's very important. Even this, the quality of job that you do can have a lot of sort of influence. That also causes stress and all. And if you see, if the monkeys are stable, if there is not much difference, you can see the disease does not vary. Now, mental stress can also cause what we call as the decrease in the blood supply to the heart, called myocardial ischemia. It causes angina or pain in the chest. And this is a very old experiment which was done that if on the lower panel, if you see, if the person is sad, depending upon his level of sadness, you can see his blood flow to the heart decreases. Because when you are under stress, the coronary arteries which supply oxygen to the blood, they constrict, and this has been very clearly shown in this, that the person is sad. On the other hand, in the second panel, if you see the person is happy, then the blood flow is better. So happiness and stress are opposite. And if you don't even have heart disease, some people can get pain in the chest because of this. But if they have a disease, then this is much worse. Now, there are a large number of studies, I'm not going to detail, but this was one of the largest studies in the whole world which was done. This was called Inter-Heart study, which was done several years back. This was in 2004, but it had a very large number of individuals, about 30,000 from several countries, Europe, China, South Asia, including India, Middle East, and other countries. In all these countries, they found these 9 risk factors. And these risk factors, as I told you already, one was, of course, the cholesterol, the smoking, psychosocial stress came as number 3. High blood pressure, we all know that, and diabetes, obesity, and sedentary lifestyle, and wrong eating and all. And this is what was shown clearly, that psychosocial stress, this is the largest study, as I said, was responsible 2.5 times more as compared to those who did not have psychosocial stress and all. So it was almost as bad as smoking is. So if one person is under stress, we call it equal to smoking 10 cigarettes. It's as bad as diabetes, even worse than that, and also as bad as hypertension. So psychosocial stress was clearly shown in this large study all over the world. It's not only India, but all over the world this is important. Other factors I have already discussed with you. And this is what was shown, that in ladies it was responsible for 40% of heart attacks, and gents little less in this, but they are more or less equal in other studies. So about 1/3 or 1/4 of the heart attacks could be because of psychosocial stress itself, as bad as smoking is. Now, there can be physical stresses, acute stressors. For example, there was an earthquake in Northbridge in '94, and it increased the cardiac deaths around that area. It happened for several days. When the terrorist attack occurred in 9/11 in the United States, again the heart attacks increased. In the surrounding areas, they were not even involved. So this negative news can also give acute heart attacks also. Any acute problem in the family can cause it. For example, mortality increased within 1 month of death of spouse. This is a lot of data is there. The spouse dies, there's a lot of stress to the other person. The work-related stress, upcoming deadlines, increase myocardial infarction 6 times. If you think upcoming deadlines are there, we can have heart attack can increase 6 times and all. And marital care, there stress can also increase. There are a lot of data on this. And this is a data of Los Angeles. You can see that on the upper panel, this is the heart attacks occurring throughout the year and all, 2 years. But look at the 3rd year when earthquake occurred, and you can see that there is a 5 times increase in the heart attacks just by one earthquake, because everybody gets scared. And this acute problems like this, losing a job, losing a spouse, can cause this. So acute attacks can cause heart attacks. But more important are emotional factors. And depression is a very, very strong independent risk factor. The severity of the depression, and there are a lot of data available. I'll not go into details of this, but this is one of the American Heart Association's guidelines, that depression is with poor prognosis. Patients who have heart disease or have heart attack, they have twice the chances of dying if they are not stressed enough. So therefore, the American Heart Association scientific statement said that depression should be equal to smoking, hypertension, and obesity. So all these factors and depression, they are equal. So smoking is as bad as depression is. This is depression after a heart attack. If after a heart attack you are depressed, severe depressed, as you see the lowermost, the chances of survival are much less, about only 70%. But if you are not stressed, the chances are 90%. So stress after a heart attack also can worsen. There is a lot of data on this. I am showing scientific data. And this is the risk factors, as I told you, which cause heart disease like diabetes, like blood pressure, etc. But you see on the lowermost, if there is a depression, it is much worse than even diabetes. This is a very large study called Framingham study, in which they tried to find out risk factors which cause heart attack, and they found that psychosocial stress or depression, clinical depression, is a very, very strong risk factor, as bad as cholesterol or smoking. What about anxiety? This is again huge data, meta-analysis of 20 studies in more than 2.5 lakh individuals shows that anxiety is an independent factor for heart disease. So if you are anxious, this is also, apart from you can have other problems, but this can cause heart disease. It is also associated with poor prognosis. If a person has heart attack and after that he has anxiety or even heart failure or even have a bypass surgery, angioplasty. Then there is so many personalities. Personality A was considered as one of the risk factors, which it is slightly, but now this is a new personality D behavior which has come out to be as a risk factor. It is characterized as little different than depression, tendency to experience increased negative affectivity paired with tendency not to express these emotions. So even if a person is having problem, we will not go to the doctor, he is so much depressed, and this is called type D. And it has been shown to be associated with connectivity problems. It doesn't matter, I think we can stop it if you want. Yeah. So personality, it's moving. This is a study after angioplasty, you know that stents etc. we are putting these days. And it is quite safe, but if a person has personality D, you can see that even at 9 months the prognosis is poor. These people have more complications. They can have angina again, they can have blockage, etc. As bad as smoking is. So I'm trying to show that even if a person has a disease and you have a personality, then anger, everybody of us has this anger associated with increased heart attack events. And I have seen with anger, people suddenly dying also. What happens is too much of anger, sudden anger can liberate a lot of catecholamines which can cause even ventricular fibrillation, cardiac arrest, and I have seen people dying. I have seen anger causing heart attacks because the plaque ruptures and all that. So there are a number of studies which show that acute heart attacks, cardiac mortality is increased if a person is angry. Anger doesn't help anybody, it only harms you. And similarly, these are by anger traits. If you have more anger traits, then the chances of survival are much less. Social factors, as I said, have come out to be a very important factor now. This is a disease of the low socioeconomic status. People who are not educated, those who have poor income, this is quite clear. And those who are even staying in a neighborhood which is not very healthy. If there is violence in that, if there are no parks there, if there are no good stores there which sell good food, etc., then these people get more disease and all, and they are addicted also to alcohol. And so a lot of data from all over the world, including our own country, education and the income also matters, and the type of job that you are doing, as I said. This is a very important factor, and this reason is stress is very, very high in these patients. And Indian studies also show that heart attacks are increasing in people who have low education and low economics, and social isolation, lack of social support are also very important. Lack of social support is very important. So this is how do the stress causes this? Well, if there are stressors like job strain, life events, low socioeconomic status, social isolation, it causes psychosocial stress, and that psychosocial stress can go into depression, anger, hostility. All these factors like stress, they change the physiology of the human body. They change the sympathetic parasympathetic system, what's called autonomic nervous system. Increased sympathetic means increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, etc. And low parasympathetic. This itself can cause heart disease. Then there are lots of hormones which are released from the brain, which is called the hypophysis HPA system, hypophysis pituitary adrenal axis, which can damage the not only the heart but also the pancreas and the blood vessels. So it can cause high blood pressure, it can cause heart disease, even diabetes. There is oxidative stress, and these hormones can itself. So all these stress factors not only can cause heart disease or heart attack, they can cause high blood pressure, They can cause diabetes also. Now diabetes is also a very strong risk factor. And that all these things, physiological parameters can increase the high blood pressure, they can increase the cholesterol, they can increase the tobacco habits, endothelial dysfunction, and atherosclerosis, and ultimately it can cause heart attack. So, if we get these problems, what should we do? Well, the results are mixed. These days, you give a lot of drugs are there if a person is anxiety, depression, but the results are not very good. People have tried, large number of trials are available, drugs like sertraline, etc. has been used, but the results are mixed. Yes, cognitive behavior therapy is useful, but again limited results. But the reason why I think these things are not successful is because the origin of the stress is not really in the body, it's in the mind. We know very little about the mind. We know human being is not only a body, we all know that. It has something called mind and also consciousness. We know very little about consciousness. But a lot of data is there that we are all conscious beings and the consciousness does not die, the body dies. Every year your body has to change, it dies, the skin changes, bones change, even your eyes and heart, everything changes within a year. It has to die and it is replaced. We can't see that, but it is a fact that the body is dying every minute. And on the other hand, consciousness does not die. So, and therefore, we have very little knowledge of this. More research needs to be done on mind. We even don't know where mind is actually. It can't be seen, it is not researched at all. But there is techniques which can treat at these three levels, body, mind and consciousness. And these are called the techniques like yoga, meditation. So, how many of you are doing yoga? Anybody is doing yoga? Yes. I would suggest you to do yoga because if you are interested in performance in the examination, I can tell you there was a big study done in a medical college in Mumbai. Half the students were taught yoga in the first professional, others were not. And those who did yoga meditation, they topped in so the whole college is doing. If you want to improve your performance in the examination, apart from other benefits which I'll talk about, I think this is very good because it has been clearly shown yoga increases your memory, it increases your concentration and you can perform better in whatever experience you have. And there are a large number of experiences written by doctors, engineers, other people that they have shown that they excelled in their own profession, which can increase the creativity also. So I'll talk about what is yoga and because that is my research area for about 20 years or so and I have used it in my patients and also used in normal people to avoid this. Yoga is not, it's an ancient word which is taken from a Sanskrit called yuj means union of the mind with the body. Our body is somewhere else, mind is somewhere else. Or uniting your consciousness with the higher consciousness. So it's not a few postures, but a complete way of life. It's the best lifestyle ever devised. It aims at harmonious development of body, mind, leading to physical well-being, mental harmony. And yoga, it's actually a lifestyle. As I said, it consists of physical, mental, emotional and spiritual well-being. Physical means a diet, sattvic diet, as I told you, is a part of it. Physical exercise is a part of yoga. And no smoking, that's a physical. Mental part is very important because that is one of the best methods of mental well-being. There are at least 1,000 articles and theses written on how to manage stress with meditation, yoga and all that. This is scientifically proven. Emotional well-being, bad emotions, you just now heard anger, ego, hostility, they can cause this disease and the positive emotion like compassion, love can. So this can change those emotions. And spiritual well-being. We understand who we are and the moment we feel that we are the consciousness, we look into that and look inside. Who am I? The moment you look inside with meditation, then you become spiritual. You are not scared of the ordinary things. And people who are spiritual, who go to even temples or do yoga a little bit, they have been shown that the spiritual people get less disease. If they get disease, they get better. So yoga has been shown that scientific work to decrease the work stress, anxiety, depression, and improve sleep. Huge number of studies are available, meta-analysis are available. Even the cause has been considered that it changes the neurotransmitters in the brain, like dopamine and other things which are changed by these drugs can be changed by yoga. It has been clearly shown that it also improves sleep. Sleep deprivation is also one of the main reasons for heart disease. And there are a large number of a study is done that heart disease, as you know, is caused by risk factors like diabetes, blood pressure, anxiety, which causes blockage of the arteries, then heart attacks, and then heart failure. Now, people have shown that all these risk factors of heart disease, like obesity, like high blood pressure, diabetes, mental stress and depression, etc., and can all be controlled by yoga. And a lot of studies, even I will show you what studies show that even if diseases occur, it can be reversed. And of course, it's very, very useful in high blood pressure. Even all the international organizations recently have said that yoga and meditation should be used for control of hypertension. This is the European guidelines which have just come last month. They said yoga and meditation is useful in patients with hypertension. Last year also, the International Society of Hypertension. So it's coming into that. Even Diabetic Association has said that it should be used. So there are a number of studies, and if people are happy, there's a Canadian study, 10 years follow people who are having good mental health. This means who are happy, they had less heart disease as compared to unhappy people. So as I said, this is some of our studies with others, and we did a study in which the blockages were there. They may not really interest you too much, but we showed that it is possible that even advanced heart disease can be regressed, and many people who require bypass surgery could be avoided from that. And therefore, this is the results of the studies. They are all published. You can see them. They are all indexed. That the yoga decreased the body mass index, obesity was decreased, the cholesterol decreased, angina decreased. They had blockages which regressed, and the psychosocial status improved. This is very important. And the compliance. You see, what happens is people don't follow what the doctors tell them. After a few days, they forget. A person comes with a heart attack, he's very scared, and a few months he follows the medicine. After that, doesn't follow. He forgets it. Similarly, high blood pressure, very common disease, and people compliance is less than 25%. In our country, in Delhi, it is 10%. People don't take it because the mind becomes very, very weak. And we found that the compliance is very much improved by more than 80%. This is one of the best things, because I think it increases the willpower, and that's why it's been used for even smoking cessation and other things. This is if there is a blockages in the early stages, this is a metabolic syndrome which is very common in our country. We are not obese, but our abdomen is obese, central obesity. So waist sort of, if your waist size is more, then this is called metabolic, and this causes heart disease. We did a study in 100 people, and we showed that there is a blockages can be reversed completely because there's early blockages, and then there is a even decrease in the body mass index, the waist circumference also increases, and cholesterol also improves in this. So this is all again a published study which is there. And even if a patient has a heart disease, heart attack, you follow it up for 7-8 years. This is yoga versus non-yoga, and you will see that they have 50% reduction in the mortality. So even if a patient has heart disease, you should continue that. And we have done a study recently in which after angioplasty and bypass, we have shown that if you do this yoga, this was done the largest study ever in more than 3,000 people, and it was shown that the recurrence of heart disease does not occurs much less as compared to the control group. So yoga has tremendous uses and all, and it counteracts all the problems which are created by stress. You know, stress causes so many diseases. It causes headache. Headache is not a symptom of high blood pressure. Headache is a sign of increased stress. And if you control stress, headache can be removed. There's a big study which was done in migraine headache from All India Institute only last year. It showed that migraine headache can be controlled. Asthma is caused by stress again. Irritable bowel syndrome is caused by stress. Diabetes is caused, high blood pressure, heart disease is caused. Similarly, the psychoneurotic disease like anxiety, depression, etc. There's some evidence that even cancer could improve, although more studies are going on, because these yoga can increase the marker cells. In young people, it's very, very important. A colleague of mine from GB Pant Hospital, Dr. Mohit Gupta, has done a beautiful study. He got these young people, 20 years, 30 years, got a heart attack, no risk factors. They have never smoked, they are not obese. And why did they get this? Because they were tremendous stress. And he did their studies, biochemical studies, and he found that vascular age is equal to 80 years, although they're 18, 20 years old. But their vascular age is, because stress can increase the telomere length. He did the telomere length, which is a sign of aging, and he found that these people have really aged. Vascular age is much higher. So if you are under stress, you are losing 40-50 years of your life. If a youngster, I would like to say that you have read about all these young people getting it. They all had these risk factors, and then they try to overdo the things. You see, if you are not used to exercise, you can't overdo the things. If you have a disease, you should get a checkup done and then get. So some young people are getting it, and one of the main reasons is, of course, the stress. Other factors are also there. The diet is bad, we are not doing exercise. This is all important, but I think most important factor is stress. So for young people, I think it's a good lesson to learn that they should remain stress-free. And yoga is the best method, I can tell you that. Not only it improves your overall well-being, it is a method of physical, mental, emotional and spiritual well-being. It can achieve it, and this is not medical, I'm telling you, this is all scientifically proven. So to conclude, I would like to say that mental stress is a very important factor for causation of not only heart disease but other lifestyle disease, diabetes and hypertension also. And numerous studies have shown that these factors are responsible for this disease, and if you can control these factors before the disease occurs, disease will not occur. If the disease has occurred, if you control them, the disease will come down. And a lot of studies are there, and yoga appears to be a very promising technique, although more research is needed. And this can be an extremely good method for mental well-being now. So yoga is considered as one of the best techniques. Our Prime Minister has done a great job by getting it accepted throughout the world. The whole world is doing yoga. I think Indians are not doing that much. It's not being done as a physical exercise. It's being done for mental well-being now. Physical exercise you can do to keep your body, but to keep your mind healthy, and therefore body-mind connection is very important. Actually, body just follows the orders of the mind, as I said, and therefore for the mental wellness, the mind has to be strong, and there's a lot of data to show that. And students, those who are not doing it, it's not difficult to do. And my patients of 70, 80 years can do sitting on a chair. You can all do it. You don't need much time. Later on, it becomes a yogic attitude. Question is how long you should do. So after a few years, it will become yogic attitude. Yoga is nothing but doing your work with full attention and positivity. For example, you are eating meals now, mindfulness eating. If you are eating with full attention, not talking at that time, not watching TV, what we are doing, we are doing three things we are doing. You are watching TV, we are discussing the family affairs, and we are eating. So that food is no good. You should do yoga at that time or meditation. Similarly, while walking, you should be doing it. While studying, you should be doing it. It may look difficult at times because negative things will come. You will say that this will improve. So I think yoga is one of the best methods, and that's how I took up yoga. I wanted to know what life is and how to enjoy life. I think you all know that life is not a straight line. It's happiness and unhappiness, success and failure. Now, 50% of life is going to be failure, even if we are at the top. So 50% is failure, how to enjoy that failure? So we waste half of our life. Failures we don't enjoy. So yoga makes you enjoy the failures also, because outside things don't affect you. You can't change the whole world. You can't change 7 billion people. You can change yourself. And the moment you change, then outside things don't affect you. So you enjoy full life. And then how do you enjoy it? Again, by not getting affected from outside things. So this is what my message to you will be. Not only you will remain mental well-being, you will have physical well-being, emotional and spiritual well-being, and you will do well in studies. A lot of data available. You can take the Google and see that how does the performance of an individual who is studying improve. And there's a lot of data on school children and college students and all that. It improves their performance. Not only it makes them better human beings, and they, of course, also avoid all these things. Thank you very much.
I'm sure you all have gained a lot from this very enriching and scientific presentation about the link between stress and heart and other diseases. So some of you may have some questions, because he has raised a lot of issues relating to youngsters not being mindful about eating or doing exercise and habits and other kinds of things. So if anyone has any question, the mic may be passed on. Please ask questions to either of the distinguished speakers. One who is talking about sustainability, and you cannot have a sustainable future with sick people, right? So you require healthy people, right? So healthy mind and healthy body, that was the message given by Dr. Manchanda. And therefore, Mr. Ratish Shah has said that, you have, whether it's UNICEF, whether it's WHO or whatever it is, these are different wings of United Nations trying to promote, good life, good, for everything, for social, mental, environmental, and well-being. So, anyone has any questions to either of the speakers? Please use the mic, or you can come here.
Meditation is nothing but very simple. I can teach you here in 2 minutes if you have time. You see, you have to sit quietly without any disturbances. That's important. There should be mobile should be off. There should be no music. If you can find a isolated place initially, so you sit quietly and just watch your breath. That's all. You should have concentration on the tips of the nostril. When you are concentrating on the tips of the nostril, you find that when air is going, it's a little cold. When it's coming out, it's warm. So full concentration on the tips of the nostril. When you have full concentration, the mind will run away here and there. Let it run away. Bring it back here. So slowly what will happen is that you will not be that much, it will not run away again and again after a few days or few months. So concentrate on one thing, and that is, I'm saying, best is tips of the nostril. Watch your breath. Every breath should be noticed as going in and it's coming out. As going in, it's a little cold when it's coming out. So very simple. Then lots of thoughts will come. Let the thoughts come, but don't react to them. You see, we should never stop this, because meditation is a natural state. So let the thoughts come, but don't react. For example, you see a movie, isn't it? A good scene comes, a bad scene comes, you don't react, isn't it? So similarly, you don't react at that time. So do this just 10 minutes a day, not more than that. Just concentrating on your tips of the nostril and in a quiet place, and do it every day, and you will find that after a month or so or 2 months, your concentration will increase. So what will happen is, outside things sometimes will be good or bad, they will not affect you. What happens is, if you get 1% less than your colleague, you get so much stressed. If the colleague has said something bad thing, which is normal, there will be nice things and bad things, that's quite normal. So you will not be affected by things. The moment you are not affected, your concentration is right on the studies itself. So meditation is very, there's so many methods. There are 100 types of meditation, 100 types of yoga. But they think you should concentrate on one thing and think positive. Whenever you are doing a thing, things will go wrong, but they are quite normal. As I said, life is not a straight line. You should enjoy both success as well as failure. Failure is going to be a part of your life. We have never been told how to face failures. This is being now taught in many places in the United States, but you should know how to face failure. These are normal. Any failure occurs because it's like waves of an ocean. Anything which goes up has to go down. Anything which goes down has to come up. The moment you think this is normal and to come up, there is no problem. So this is meditation. The moment you do it at 10 minutes a day, good enough, and you can do it later on, it will become a habit. Whatever you are doing, like you are studying, all the thoughts will not come to you. You will only concentrate on studying. And if there is a difficult thing which you are not able to say, I will be able to do it. So positive thinking comes. Normally we are all negative thinkers. Negative thinking has been taught to us, unfortunately, from early childhood. When a child is there, you see, he is born, up to 4 years he's fine. He's doing yogic breathing, we call abdominal breathing, which I'm not going to detail. And the child is quite stress-free. The moment he becomes little 5 years, he goes to the school, he's told you are white, you are black, you are this religion. He gets confused, so many things are there. You should score more than that. So he starts breathing as wrong. A child smiles 200 times a day. Adult smiles once in 2 days or 3 days. So laughing is also a part of this thing. So I think we should be like a child. We say cholesterol also goes up. The only animal whose the child's cholesterol LDL is 30 and ours is 200 and we get heart attacks. So we are taking wrong diets. We don't know what we are doing. We are not doing exercise. We are all the time stressed because of these negative things and all. So I think do this 10 minutes a day and you will feel. Of course, to improve your mental health, you need a good diet also. It has been clearly shown that jaisa an vaisa man, jaisa man vaisa tan, or jaisa tan vaisa aapka swasth. So this is exactly, your diet should also be a healthy diet. That means a lot of fruits and vegetables and nuts, and don't take refined, as little as possible. I can't say, small children, I always say once a week you can take junk food, rest of these 6 days try to avoid it. So that's all I will say.
And once you start, you will not stop it. And what have you?
The most difficult part is to manage yourself. Management is only of yourself. If you can manage yourself, your emotions, physical, mental, and emotional, then everything is solved. You see, the most difficult part is this. Why are you diverted by other things? I have a lot of other things to do. That's all right. They are normal. If you have other things, I will be able to do it. So I think if you can manage yourself, the most difficult part in management is managing yourself, the single person. You don't have to manage anybody else. The moment you manage yourself, the whole world is managed. The most difficult part is to manage yourself. Can you control your anger? If there are so many diversions, you will say, these are normal, I will be able to do it. So there is nothing called. If you can manage yourself, that is physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you will have no problems at all. Because people who have difficulty are those who are not able to manage themselves. Say, why are they diverted? These are normal words which you are doing. You are not diverted to anything. You see, the moment your so-called yogic attitude comes, then you will be able to behave for 24 hours like that. While studying, you will be yogic attitude. While eating, as I said, while dealing with others, if there are problems, which will be there, you will be able to solve with this yogic attitude. So what happens is, if the problem occurs, mind gets disturbed. If the mind is, can you solve the problem? No. If the problem is there, yes, I accept the problem and keep the mind cool, and you will be able to solve it. It's very clearly shown. People who get disturbed, they don't solve the problem. People who remain stable, how do you remain stable? By doing yoga meditation. Lot of
Basically, for consistency, we have.
I stand before you today with immense gratitude and pleasure as I extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to Mr. Ratnesh Jha, the Executive Director of United Nations Global Compact Network India. We have been truly honored and privileged to have Mr. Jha with us today, and it is only fitting that we express our gratitude for his valuable presence and contribution. Mr. Jha, through her unwavering commitment and tireless efforts, has been instrumental in driving positive changes in the field of sustainable development and corporate responsibilities. His leadership in UNGCI has not only brought remarkable growth and recognition to the organization, but has also significantly contributed to the broader missions. UNGCI has become a beacon of inspiration and guiding force for countless businesses and individuals that are committed to making a difference in this world. On behalf of all present here today, and on behalf of all those who have been touched by his work, your work serves as inspiration to us all, reminding us the importance of working toward a more sustainable future. I extend our deepest gratitude for Mr. Jha. Now I would like to call Dr. Radha Sharma upon the stage for the memento presentation. It is with a great honor and privilege that I stand before you today to deliver a vote of thanks to Dr. S.C. Manchanda. Beyond his medical accomplishment, Dr. Manchanda's dedication to community services and public health advocacy is truly commendable. He has been a role model and source of inspiration for aspiring medical professionals, reminding us all for the importance of compassion, ethics, and services in the field of healthcare. Now I request Dr. Radha Sharma, our coordinator, to present a token of gratitude to Dr. Manchanda.